A few weeks ago, I covered the new premium Allied VTOL aircraft, the now infamous GR-1 and AV-8A. Now it's time to look at the Soviet equivalent, the Yak-38. This vehicle was developed to operate on the Soviet-class cruisers. Unlike American carriers with steam catapults, the Soviets only built aircraft-capable cruisers with relatively short flight decks. This meant that the Yak-38 could only carry a limited amount of weapons, due to the plane needing to be light enough to take off. While this is a fair compromise in real life, what does this underwhelming weapons load mean for the Yak-38 in War Thunder? Alright lads, today I'm going to be talking about the weapons and performance of the Soviet Yak-38. Starting as always with the basics, this vehicle is a rank 5 battle rating 9.3 jet fighter located in the Soviet tech tree. Being a rank 5 premium, it will be effective at researching vehicles between the ranks of 1 and 6, meaning you can grind out all Soviet aircraft with this vehicle. To unlock this jet, you will have to buy the Yak-38 pack from the Guardian store. For a cost of €60, you get the plane, 2,000 Golden Eagles, and 15 days of premium time. On top of this purchase cost, you'll have to add the plane to your lineup for the cost of an additional 10,000 Silver Lions. You can then additionally purchase the Expert in Ace qualifications for the jet, costing 1,640,000 Silver Lions and 2,400 Golden Eagles respectively. You also have a fairly cheap repair cost of 7,660 Silver Lions in this jet, giving you pretty good profit margins. We move on to the rewards, and the vehicle has a base RP modifier of 2.2, which gives you an RP modifier of 220% with a free-to-play account and 440% with a premium account. Your base Silver Line modifier of 2.0 is actually pretty low for a high tier premium. You can expect a 400% Silver Line modifier with a free-to-play account and 600% with a premium account. Alright lads, just letting you know, I now have a Twitter account. I'm using the handle SAKO Sniper, the same name as my channel. I'll mainly be posting behind the scenes, shit posts, as well as general updates about the channel. I also have a Discord server. It's kind of small at the minute, but we already have a decent community going, and I'd love for you lads to be a part of it. There'll be links down in the description below, and now back to the video. Starting with the engine and flight characteristics, and the Yak-38 is powered by the Tumansky R27V engine. This does not feature an afterburner and produces 6,600 kg of thrust at military power. This engine gives the plane a respectable climb rate of 94.3 meters per second with clean wings, and when carrying two air-to-air missiles, that drops down to 86.3 meters per second. This is better than the now infamous GR-1's 80 meters per second climb rate, so you can expect to outclimb most opponents in this jet. The engine power also gives you rather good slow speed acceleration. From 0 to around 400 km per hour, you feel like a rocket. But above this speed, acceleration drops off significantly. At battle rating 9.3, most engagements take place at fairly high speed, so the Yak having poor high speed acceleration makes it very unforgiving in a dogfight, as you are unable to rapidly regain lost energy. The Yak also has a fairly high top speed, being able to reach 2,000 km per hour at sea level, again beating the GR-1's 1,133 km per hour top speed. Just like the climb rate, this is above average for the battle rating, and you will be able to outrun most opponents. However, seeing as most planes now have missiles, raw top speed is no longer a good indicator of a plane's performance. So far, the Yak-38 has rather average performance when it comes to top speed, climb rate and acceleration. But can the plane turn? Can it fuck? This is the worst turning jet at this battle rating by far, to the point where playing this jet actually made me want to quit playing War Thunder. The Yak-38 has a full 360-degree turn time of over 38 seconds, which is absolutely awful. Even the French Vartor heavy bomber has a turn rate of 32 seconds. The Yak-38 should be moved to the Soviet Blue Water Navy tech tree, where it can serve as their third battleship, as it certainly has a turning circle of 1. But jokes aside, the poor turn rate seriously limits your ability to perform in this jet. You cannot maneuver with any other plane, so if someone gets on your 6, there's literally nothing you can do to evade them. You could try to throttle drop, but as I've mentioned, this plane has horrendous acceleration, meaning an enemy just has to loop over and come back down on top of you for an easy kill. So far I haven't mentioned that the Yak-38 is a VTOL aircraft. That's basically because VTOL in game is an absolute meme and serves no real purpose in most situations. Overall, the Yak-38 is very painful to fly, and in my opinion, not very fun to play. Moving on to the weapons, and to start, the Yak-38 has a ballistic computer, or constantly calculated impact point. This gives you a reticle on screen telling you where your cannons and rocket will impact if fired. Unlike the American Phantoms however, your CCIP will not calculate the impact point of bombs. Moving on to the stock weapon, and that is the GSH-23L. This weapon system is a dual-barrel 23mm cannon with a high cyclic fire rate. These guns are essentially copies of the guns found on the most of the Soviet MiG-21 gunships. These cannons are located right on the belly of the plane, which makes aiming them more difficult compared to conventional nose-mounted guns. This aiming issue is made worse by the fact that these guns have a very low muzzle velocity, meaning you will have to lead them unusually more than most other jets in the game. This version of the GSH has a total of 160 rounds of ammunition, which means you will have to be really disciplined with your shots, especially considering these guns have a cyclic fire rate of 3,400 rounds per minute. The Yak-38 has a total of 4 hardpoints, and on these hardpoints, you can mount an additional 4 GSH 23mm gun pods, giving you a total of 5 cannons on this jet. While this does sound impressive, it adds an insane amount of weight to the plane, and essentially turns you into even more of a brick. The second weapon available to carry are the good old S5K dumbfire rockets. You can carry these rockets in 2 configurations, the first with 16 rockets, and the second with 32 rockets. The S5Ks themselves have a pretty high explosive warhead capable of penetrating 150mm of armour at all ranges. This is rather mediocre however, and the warhead's payload of a measly 344 grams of TNT is also pretty poor. The rockets do however have a pretty good travel speed of 610 meters per second, making them comparable to the French Snebs. However, unlike the Snebs, the S5K seem to be incredibly inaccurate. The third option are the S24B unguided rockets. You can only carry 4 of them in total, but what they lack in quantity, they make up for in quality. While the S24s are slower, only having a maximum speed of 410 meters per second, they have a huge 25.5 kilograms of TNT in their warheads, giving them 80mm of penetration at all angles. You will still need a direct hit to take out a main battle tank, but a close miss will still kill a lightly armoured target or SBAAG. You can then also carry 3 types of bombs: 100kg bombs with an explosive radius of 4 meters, 250kg bombs with an explosive radius of 6 meters, and finally 500kg bombs with an explosive radius of 11 meters. Remember, the Yak-38 does not get a ballistic computer for its bombs, making accurately dropping them on small moving targets rather tricky. The Yak also gets access to the KH-23M anti-ship missiles. These are essentially the Soviet version of the Nord or Bullpup air-to-ground missiles, and while they were designed to attack shipping, these missiles are still incredibly potent against ground targets, due to their insane explosive warhead of 96kg of TNT. These missiles are aimed by pointing the nose of the plane at the target, essentially giving you mouse-aim guided air-to-ground missiles. They aren't particularly accurate, but they do get the job done. And finally, your last weapon is the reason the Yak-38 is so popular at the minute. This plane is able to carry 2 R-60 advanced air-to-air missiles. The R-60s have a maximum overload of 30 Gs, making them the joint best missiles in the game. The R-60s have a very large seeker head, allowing you to lead a target before launching the missile, significantly increasing the chance of hitting at close range. But where this missile shines is against opponents travelling at medium speeds, such as enemies who are currently in or have just exited a dogfight. And considering that this plane is at battle rating 9.3, most of your opponents will be subsonic, basically giving you 2-3 kills. While the R6s are great for killing anything at your battle rating, they are easily defeated by enemies such as the A7Ds who carry flares. Speaking of which, the Yak-38 doesn't get access to flares, so combined with your poor manoeuvrability, you'll find it very hard to defeat incoming missiles. Overall, the weapons of the Yak are pretty good, but its poor flight characteristics really destroy this plane. You can't put those weapons to work in aerialistic, and in ground battles, you aren't manoeuvrable enough to be an effective cast plane. To conclude, I think that this jet is awful. I hated getting footage for this video, and just like the Harriers, the missiles are decent, but the performance of the plane itself is absolutely terrible. It's like an even less manoeuvrable F-104, which I didn't even know was possible. The lack of manoeuvrability is a serious issue, as you can't even pull enough Gs to dodge an AIM-9B. If anybody gets on your 6, you're pretty much dead, due to a lack of acceleration, power, and manoeuvrability. There is an argument that this plane is good for casting ground realistic battles with its 2 air-to-ground missiles, but do you really want to spend €60 for 2 underwhelming missiles? I certainly do not. I got this vehicle from Gaijin on a test drive, and I will not be buying the plane with my own money. I can't really tell you at the minute what the best Soviet premium plane is. The Yak does have good missiles, essentially giving you 2-3 kills, but you aren't going to be learning anything about dogfighting in this plane. Just like the Harriers, playing this jet won't make you a better pilot. In my honest opinion, this jet is not worth anywhere near €60, it probably isn't even worth €30 in my honest opinion. Overall, the Yak-38 is a subsonic version of the F-104 with even worse manoeuvrability. It's important to remember, this is just my opinion. What do you guys think of this Soviet era trash? If you have any questions, criticism, positive or negative, or even like to request a review, then please feel free to leave a comment below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If I did my job correctly, hopefully you should have learned something new about this vehicle. If you do enjoy these sorts of videos, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing. But more importantly lads, I hope you have a great day, and thank you very much for watching.